Welcome everyone to another edition of Football 101. I'm Josh Rudy Matos and I'm joined by David Lucky and Nikolai Madre. Guys, we want the show to be interactive, so you can message us at 393ACTN, and also you could follow us on all social media. That's Football 101 TNT. So guys, let's talk the talk. Football, a lot of big games this weekend. We have to start off in one place, Theatre of Dreams.
You don't have to start there.
The GOAT, who never left, but just showing the reason why he's the GOAT, a hat-trick, Cristiano Ronaldo, making waves this weekend.
Yeah, for sure, Josh. I mean, he stepped up in a big game, and certain people that didn't step up this weekend, we'll get into that a little more about consequences of that. But it's good to see him showing up in these games and taking the 3 points and basically winning an all-important game for Man U.
And he wasn't the only GOAT in the stadium. Tom Brady actually was in the stand, So the GOATs watching the GOATs.
That's what you have? That's good? Nah, of course. I mean, it's a big game, though. I mean, it's Spurs, though.
It's a fourth place.
It's a big game. It's a top 6 game, that for sure. They can't deny that.
I just hate it. Anyway, but yeah, definitely a good showing on Ronaldo's part. I mean, as you were saying before taping, the man went to Portugal to pick up his Sue.
Yeah, Sue was on a little vacation. She wasn't there for a little while, and she returned this weekend.
Yeah, definitely a good showing on his part. He was missed. He was definitely missed. But I find, they did struggle a little bit. They definitely, I would say, on a majority of the game, they were on the back pedal. I mean, they were playing counter-attacking football, but definitely, I wouldn't say it's their best showing. Ronaldo had to come and save them yet again.
Yeah, it's difficult Man United right now with their performances and inconsistency with them.
Yeah.
But again, well done to Ronaldo. He even broke the world record there for the most goals. He's on 807 now, actually.
807, yeah.
So a really good performance. No Bruno Fernandes out for jump because of illness, but again, a big talking point of the game had to be Harry Maguire giving the own goal. A lot of people giving him stick over, not only in this game, but in the past few months.
And his form, sometimes you see blunders that he makes and it makes you wonder, what is he really doing in the back there? Is he really earning so much right now for doing stuff like that? No?
Yeah, but then he playing for England and then it's just magical Maguire, all of a sudden, he can do no wrong.
Yeah, but the big question is, why is he still playing? If you aren't showing form, even if you're the captain of a team, you should be benched for not performing. And it looks as though he can score own goals, he can give away games, and he always there for the start.
I mean, Man United has always kind of had set the precedence in regards to that. I mean, you look at Wan-Bissaka, he was on months of, poor form and was, everybody was just on a ollie, and he was like, why is Wan-Bissaka starting, what is going on with him, and then, well, Fred, Mr. Fred, always.
He had a good game, though.
No, he did. I will say, I know you're not Fred's biggest fan either, so at the end of the day.
It was the one game out of the 5 bad games.
Right. Oh, yes. We have to keep,
it was
ladies and gentlemen, always remember the ratio. One good game out of 5.
Yeah.
But just what I think about Tottenham and they're running for top 4. They've won the last 10 games. I think they have to win all games now in order to push on.
Yeah.
But what do you think about their chances moving forward after that?
I think they're even worse off when it comes to consistency compared to Manchester United. You're looking at a Tottenham team that defeated the champions 2-3 weeks ago with an amazing performance by Kane, and then he comes at Old Trafford. Yeah, he scored the pen, but he was kind of non-existent in this game as well.
But as we're going back to that point, he had a point to prove in the Etihad, so it was definitely something to think about in regards.
Similar to what Ronaldo had to prove in the Theatre of Dreams. What better occasion than to show up, the week after, Messi go missing.
Exactly. And I think the thing with Tottenham is just that they don't have game changers. Kane probably is one, but when you look at the rest of the team, they don't have the level of talent that, the Chelsea's, the City's, the Liverpool has. And I think that's just really going to hurt them in the end. And Conte probably is looking for the other options as it pertains to.
I think that they have a good foundation, though. Son had some really good opportunities. He just, he didn't have that lethal finish. They have it there. It's just that final that is just eluding them.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to talk about was, even other than CR7 and his hat trick, is his future. He has a 2-year contract with Manchester United, but you know, the rumor mill every summer will always come up with CR7, and it's a big question point. Should Manchester United try their best to keep him, or do you even think Ronaldo may not even want to be there come next season?
I think he might stay once they're in Champions League and
definitely.
forward, but and see out his contract, because at the end of the day he know that that's basically a core base of his fan base itself. So he wouldn't want to leave on a bad note in per se. But if they do miss out on Champions League, and he is Mr. Champions League after all, in terms of the goals, in terms of the assists, and in terms of his statistics and legacy in the Champions League, so he would look to seek another club if available. If someone comes with a good option, maybe go somewhere else and try to win another league title over there. And,
on top of that, I mean, what about in terms of Ronaldo? I mean, as you say, he's Mr. Champions League. With him having to compete at the highest level at all times, yeah, man, you might qualify for the Champions League, but will he have the best chance in Manchester United to win the Champions League? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Josh, I throw that question to you. Do you think that Manchester United as a club right now have what it takes to win the Champions League?
On paper, no, but at the same point in time, you have someone like Cristiano in your team. You never know what can happen.
Aging Ronaldo.
You get someone like Tuchel.
Pause. Do not start. Do not start. Do not start.
But right now, obviously, no. Consistency not being there with United at this point in time. But I really think the ball is in Ronaldo court. It's not even up to what Manchester United wants to do. It's really up to him. I don't think Manchester would even want to let him go, just because of the fact of not only what he brings on the pitch, but what he brings financially.
Correct. Yeah. No, he is a brand, and he pulls Man United's brand a lot higher.
Yeah. So I really think it's really up to CR7. But again, if they are not in Champions League, I think it's definitely safe to say that he won't
move on to greener pastures.
Yep. So that's Manchester United for this weekend. Like I said, they came away victors 3-2 against Tottenham. They're fighting for that 4th place spot. But we need to talk about the other Manchester team, Manchester City. They were in action on Monday in the late game, and they dropped points versus Crystal Palace. A Crystal Palace team that actually has done really well versus Manchester City this year. Manchester City has scored against every single team in the Premier League again, but the only team they haven't scored against is Crystal Palace.
Yeah, definitely.
It opens up the title race wide open.
Correct.
Or even wider.
Yeah, definitely. Vieira's definitely doing something across there. I wouldn't say that it's a great project that he has undertook to come and oversee, but definitely they're wobbling some big clubs, and they're definitely doing a lot with respect to Man City. It's definitely an uphill battle for them.
Yeah, definitely. But as they say, this result blows up on the title race and puts the ball in Liverpool's court.
Correct.
Went out. But at the end of the day, it also still has the ball in Man City court, because it's basically the same 50-50 they're battling for. Like whoever wins that one-off game could be the champion, but it's all about being consistent as well. But we're talking about the two most consistent teams in the league. They could put on that stretch and go on 5, 6, 7, 8 games, even 10 games on return.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to if that game draws, if that game who drop points. So it's interesting to see what goes on. But in terms of Salah, in terms of their performances, and in terms of the chemistry and the individual performances over there, I know that Pep working and his team is working, but sometimes they
stumble.
They lack that little man to stand up, that star.
And it was a stacked team too. It was a stacked team. You had Grealish, Foden, Mahrez, De Bruyne.
Can we just talk about Grealish? Like how I find like he doesn't get any stick whatsoever. I know he's a $100 million man.
Well, I think that is large in part it.
Even with the $100 price tag on him, and then the different names that they just call. Who there is a star man that would score 20 a season, 20 goals, and put up at least 10, 15 assists?
Well, Aguero's gone, so
Exactly, so that, which was their star man before, which is bring back to my point, which is that, they don't have that star to go on.
Yeah, but people argue that they don't need it because they won the Premier League without a star last season.
Correct. And then you have. Yeah, but you could argue that any of those people, like you could see Mahrez having a 20 goal. You could see Kevin De Bruyne having 20 goals in a. It's there. Not to say that they're gonna be like these standalone star for the side, but at the same time too, like these guys have the talent to make teams win.
Yeah.
Well, right, and which is what they do, which is why they show consistency. But in games like these, in tight one-off games where we expect City to go out and win, and we expect someone like the games that Salah and these guys bring out something extraordinary. Like for instance, in the game against City when Salah basically put Bruno to Silva to lie down, right? So he was like, games like that and moments like that, they have it, yes, but it's how often and for every game and the consistency throughout each game.
Yeah, I think people will argue the fact that, okay, yes, I could have a Australian striker that gives you 20 goals, but if that person gets injured, it's better to have 6 players that giving you 8 to 10 goals a season. And I mean, City, that's literally what they get, maybe not from Grealish, but from all the other attackers. Yeah. They average that amount of goals per season.
But which is what Liverpool also does, without Salah and without Mane, which is what they did when they were away to the AFCON Cup, right?
Yeah.
So they show that this side is capable of doing the same thing, but when you add these 2 extra firepowers, like you're hitting the nuts on your car at the same time. It's like you have this.
So basically, Liverpool winning title this season.
given how Salah is playing and given how Mane is playing and what they have done thus far.
I don't see them dropping points.
I don't see them even if it goes to the game.
The last game
against Man City, it basically shows that they could go out and just rip them.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a question you're going to have to watch. I mean, I see Grealish coming under heavy question at the end of the season, though. I mean, definitely. I mean, that 100 million is going to be like, well, what did we pay for that?
Yeah.
I definitely see them probably going again for Kane. And with Kane now, I mean, we could anticipate some very, very little football from them.
Or they can go for a little magician in Paris.
Who's in desperate need of a little home?
Yeah, but you all forget how the main man that actually might come, which is Haaland.
Exactly.
Well, they have the cash for him, but I mean, definitely they're in a race with Real Madrid.
So it's exactly what I'm talking about in terms of they hunting a star man. They hunting that talisman to basically carry them over the line and into that elite category.
And Haaland is definitely somebody you would want to have on your books because I mean he's not only young but he is extremely lethal. And the man is literally just lights up every time he's on the pitch. So definitely something that would be very beneficial to them.
Yeah. Well, time will tell. Manchester City, like we said, dropping points this past weekend. Let's see what will happen upcoming in the next few games. We're going to take a short break and we're going to come back with some more Premier League talk. We're going to be talking Chelsea and a little bit of Liverpool, but more so Chelsea and the certain area, the certain position that the team is in at this point in time.
You're watching ACTN The Voice. Connect with ACTN The Voice on Facebook or Instagram at ACTN The Voice. ACTN The Voice, your family-friendly station.
All right, welcome back to Football 101. So like I mentioned before the break, we're going to be talking Chelsea. Now, David, Chelsea in a really good position. Nice consistency. I think it's 5 or 6 games consecutive. They have won in the Premier League. And a nice 1-0 victory over Newcastle.
Yeah, definitely a good show of form on our part. Kai Havertz scoring again for us. Definitely a really good run of form on his part. Considering, I mean, all things considered with what is going on with the club, it's definitely
a club.
Homie, listen, right? I just telling you
some
that
tissue paper.
Listen.
I'm a little bit emotional for you.
Can I speak? Is it my turn? Is it my turn to speak?
Hashtag save the bridge.
Oh, you see?
Save the bridge.
We don't need to save nobody, right? It's Saudi money incoming, people. Saudi money incoming. Anyway, right? Listen, Barca now starting to see some kind of light, right? You was crying literally just the other day. We had to coax you to come on the stage, right?
Messi own club, you know.
Listen.
I say that before because you always have club. I don't know,
Right?
honestly, I know.
Anyway, so Chelsea, right? So this is the situation as it stands, you know, with everything, you know, we don't want to be a little too political, you know, everything going on with Roman Abramovich is what it is. So good news is that how, you know, the governing bodies in UK have decided to allow the club to be put up for sale. Abramovich has also agreed to the terms. It is a go. We get an interest from Saudi Media Group.
So what does this mean for the team in terms of, let's say, player contracts, in terms of wages? You think that money, once that money comes in, everything will be good, or you think it will be even a better position than Abramovich was there, or you think what would that mean for the club itself?
I mean, I don't think it's going to be too much change. I don't think it's going to be like, you know, oh, you know, it's a whole big extra amount of cash. But at the same time, too, I mean, the Saudis have undisclosed amounts of cash flow. So we don't really know. We know it's a lot, but we don't really know how much, you know, it's undisclosed. I think that it's going to be a smooth transition in terms of what the club has come to expect in terms of spending and in terms of, you know, the big signings, and you know, it'll be business as usual. I don't think there's any danger of any kind of imminent failure or administration.
You'll be able to sell Lukaku and buy Haaland then?
Well, I mean, that would be a fantastic. I mean, we were just talking about Haaland maybe going to City, but I mean, an unprecedented move could be that, you know, Chelsea do in fact go for Haaland with, you know, the new Saudi money pump. I mean, this is all speculation at the end of the day. We don't know. We have also, you know, interest coming from the Swiss American conglomerates.
It's a speculative club, you know.
Your face is a speculative club. Listen, I am just saying, but that's all.
Then if you look at it too, we know what Chelsea was under Roman as it pertains to cutthroat, you know, he doesn't, I didn't say that, but as it pertains to, like, you know, if you're not winning, you just get the sack.
Yeah,
you never know. The owners may not. The new owners, it could be a whole different Chelsea we see in the next.
Maybe, but
I
don't see that as just a Abramovich thing. You know, like it's more of a new age kind of thing, Premier League kind of thing, because, you know, definitely is.
But he brought it into the Premier League.
I'm not saying no, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Man U has had their fair shares of doing it. Barca have definitely been doing it. It's not just, it's not subject to only Chelsea doing these things. I think it's just. A lot of the clubs have just been accustomed to such a higher standard of football, and when you're winning, you want to stay winning, and if you're not winning, then why are you even here?
No, but I think
a big club.
Well, that's what you have to do.
I think Chelsea was just on a different level. I mean, Di Matteo winning in Champions League, getting sacked the next year. Yes, I know he wasn't performing, but I think Chelsea was. They are separate when it comes to that. At Man U, you'll probably get a little more time.
Yeah, but they were. I mean, bringing up the Di Matteo thing, it was always. He was never brought on to like be like the full future successor of the club. You know, I mean, definitely coming on after AVB kind of just messed things up. You know, he was definitely not the right fit for the club. Di Matteo being, you know, a club legend, definitely, you know, helped a lot, and I mean, for Christ's sakes, we won a Champions League. So,
so what do you have to say with the pundits that are actually saying, you know, other clubs should actually, you know, go after certain players? Should
call his name. Call his name.
JB Carragher actually came out and said that, you know, that he wants, even like Manchester United, they should go 100% after Tuchel.
Yeah,
I mean, try and sign Rudiger.
I see why he would say that, but I mean, at the end of the day, I could understand where the Chelsea fan base is like, you're kicking a man when it's down. At the same time, I mean, me, Chelsea, did hard time, like, be like, what's like, what are you doing? Like, we on the ground, we bleeding.
Rivalry in club football is like, okay, that's no problem. You see how much players left different places, so and broke loyalty. So, for instance, in Italy, when all the UK players ended up going to AC, they had to go across. When things was happening,
the scandal,
you could see situations where players leave to basically handle themselves.
It's not a loyalty with money, bro.
Well, right. So why the club basically sort out themselves because of everything? They might not even want to be involved with all this.
Yeah, definitely.
On. I mean, it's personal lives they're dealing with and choices. So if they choose not to stick around and our next club basically offer you a contract, who is up to basically the players?
Well, I think Chelsea have done a really good job in terms of making it clear, especially with Roman Abramovich has also made it very clear that, you know, I love the club, I'm stepping away. You know, it's been a clean cut. You know, I would say, you know, the damage, while it has been done, it's been done very tastefully, as it can be. You know, it's definitely if Rudiger's gonna leave, it's gonna be for a contractual dispute. It's not gonna be because of anything is going on.
So I got Christiansen coming over to Barca.
Well, ink ain't dry yet.
You
Fabrizio
realize
Romano
in
ain't
every
talked about
segment
nothing
so
yet.
far he brought in Barca at some point.
Yeah, but
Since the show
man
started.
literally have to talk about it, boy. Like, God, we don't talk about B-class clubs anymore.
But Christiansen coming after us, it's like almost
It's
done deal.
not, who tell you that?
Yeah, almost
You,
like,
you pitch my with him, or?
no, Roman Fabrizio.
What? No, Fabrizio Romano? No. He ain't talk about that. You're lying.
But one thing I would say though, it's good to see that Chelsea has consistency. Even and you would think something like this with, I mean, players at the end of the day, they don't know. They might think that things are good, but you don't know. They hear things that they may not be, and well, they were supposed to always be getting paid, but they don't have money to send out the games.
That was the inklings that they were getting. I mean, with the assets. Chelsea being assets of Roman Abramovich being frozen, and then people are wondering what is going to happen. But you know, obviously, I mean, it was always going to happen this way. Even if it didn't happen now, he would have made an appeal to come out in April, and the sanctions would have either been waived or they would have made some sanctions. Because Chelsea, while it is an asset of Roman Abramovich, it is still, you know, an independent commodity in that regard. You know, they have other investors, other sponsors. You know, they definitely, you know, they are Roman Abramovich, but they're still their own entity.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess time will tell as it pertains to what goes on in Chelsea, who may be the new owners. Let's switch things over and talk Liverpool. Mo Salah rejecting a contract from Liverpool this past week. Basically, the talk of the tongue is that Mo Salah wants a certain amount of money. His contract is ending in 2023, so there isn't really no need for him to sign anything right just yet. He has some time still. Talking to the likes of the amount, I think right now he makes around 200,000, and he wants something closer to probably the likes of like Kevin De Bruyne, who makes around 400,000. Liverpool's structure at this point in time doesn't really facilitate that. Their highest paid player is Van Dijk at 220,000. So you could see they don't really break the bank when it comes to that level of payment for players. But what do you think, Liverpool? Should they just break the bank and just give this guy a 4-year contract, give him what he wants? Because at the end of the day, he is performing on the field.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's what, 29 now? You know, he has a lot of life in him. He's definitely a star man. He's definitely the man you want on the field for your games. So, I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say, you know, you break the bank for him, but I mean, you know, you definitely pay him what I think is reasonable, add in your bonus structures. You know, give him essentially what he wants, but you're not necessarily having to like break your back and bend over backwards, because at the end of the day, while he is their star forward, you know, he is an aging player at the same time too, you know.
But at the same point in time, you've seen things with Liverpool where they haven't, like, they sold Suarez, they sold Coutinho, players that they think they will take. So
if they were to break the bank for Mo Salah, they would soon have to break the bank for Mane, and then all these other players would.
Yeah, I agree. It would be a domino effect.
Would have a right, or they would have a reason to, because they would have some of the titles that Salah would have had to receive.
Yeah, and then what is
to reason exactly, you know, why he would want this pay increase now. Given and taken that his goals and statistics would speak for itself, I guess they would have some part of their contract with goal bonuses. If
correct. Different structures.
So I'm sure that he's getting paid for that, and his incentive is proper. But at the end of the day, you know, we have to come back to, if Trent wants to say, okay, well, I want to stay here now, he will always stay there, because in terms of his loyalty. But how do you pay him for his loyalty? Yeah,
and I think Trent is severely underpaid.
Exactly. So then he would have reason to say, hey, I should be paid because I can go elsewhere and do it. So if a PSG, somebody call and splash cash, who is him to stay there? So that this is why now it will put Liverpool in a position where it will be hard. So maybe they could let go of Salah, because like I say, they are a functioning team. They coped without him
for the
AFCON Cup. They would still have money. They could bring in an next player.
They could bring back in Firmino into the fold.
And they could, and like I say, even though they don't just have one star player, they have two. So this is why they could just,
and then arguably Diego Jota is doing extremely well, as you know. So you could argue it's three, you know, definitely, you know. So I mean, that's what I said. And the fold could come in back with Firmino. They have Diaz, who is now, you know, making an impression.
So more than likely, they would look to splash in. You don't never know if a side like a Bayern Munich or you know, somebody who could afford him or want him there. But
then you have to look at Salah. yes, I know it's about money. Yes, I know you need to cash in because it's probably this next contract, whether it be at Liverpool or wherever else, it's probably his last biggest contract for his time. You look at him and then you study, okay, as a player, do I want to move on? Right now, what it has at Liverpool works for me. You know, the style of play, he's already in it. You go to a Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or something, you may not have that same style, you may not have that same form even. And so then you look at it, should I go for the money or should I stay? And I mean, at the same point in time, you're not getting paid.
I mean, Hazard is a prime example of that, you know, moving from Chelsea, and Chelsea was built around Hazard, you know, that, and essentially that is what is going on at Liverpool, you know, so everything is, you know, run through Salah. And it is a very key point and very hard not to look at Hazard's situation and just be like, you know, if he had just stayed at Chelsea, you know.
You know, speaking of Real Madrid, they already know who they're hunting for their left side. Their right side is available with Bale. You never know what goes on there. I think he still plays golf or something like that. But in terms of that, the right side is available and they have the money to go for him and they have the wage bills to go. So why not go for Mbappe and Mo Salah at the same time? We know they are a side built off of Galacticos.
But do you think Florentino Perez is really going to splash that cash for him?
Why not? And you keep Benzema in the middle and you have these other two on the wings. Come on, then.
But Mo Salah is probably going to command, I would think he's going to command anywhere between 80 to 100 million.
And why stop him? Why stop Real from doing it? Because at the end of the day, he could go across there and make the money and he don't need to stay in Liverpool to do it. And Liverpool could function without him. So it all comes down to Salah and what he wants. It all comes down to what they win at the end of the season and what would be their new objective moving forward.
All right, so I guess we'll see closer probably to the end of the day as this situation develops and we'll see what Mo Salah future has for him. So we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back after this.
You're watching ACTN The Voice. Connect with ACTN The Voice on Facebook or Instagram at ACTN The Voice. ACTN The Voice, your family-friendly station.
Alright, welcome back to Football 101. So let's head across to Spain and talk some La Liga. Nikolai, all the big boys in action. 3 points all the way for each of the three big teams.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody cruising their way right now, but Real Madrid is the team that basically cruising straight through.
More so Benzema.
Yeah, Benzema basically.
Man on fire.
He's the man stealing the ship. Cruising on the ocean. But yeah, Real Madrid 10 points clear of the table, doing their thing in Spain.
He's so an enthusiastic talking about other teams,
doing their thing
all the time Barca.
Everything, when you talk about Barca, Barca this and the thing.
The league is done, you could say, right? Even though, you know, I'm a Barca fan, looking at it from now, we have like 10 games to go, 10 points separating the table. It's hard knowing exactly where the season was. I think a lot of Barca fans, a lot of people write off Barca at the beginning of the season because it's hard to catch back up. Especially, you know, losing, dropping points throughout the season. Sadly, Xavi, you know, stealing the ship. But in terms of Carlo and what he's been doing throughout the season with Real, they're the most consistent side in Spain and have been by a good bit. So, you know, they continue doing what they're doing. Vinicius and Benzema, again, both of them on the score sheets, again, doing their thing. And they have been leading the Real Madrid throughout the season, and it's consistency. See, that wins the league.
And you know, talking from expertise with Ancelotti in terms of him, you know, with Chelsea, you know, he's definitely that guy that you want to bring in to, you know, steady the ship and, you know, just keep the form going. You know, he is a brilliant coach, and you know, he not his first time with Real Madrid, so he knows the setup. He knows what they're about.
And they have a lot of tactical magicians inside of there. With
plenty of play to work with.
They keep doing what they're doing, and age is just a number with these guys. These guys are machines at the end of the day. The type of football that they play, these subliminal things that they do on the field, these sparks that they just generate.
Yeah.
They're such talented players, and we have to respect that. And heading into the Classico this weekend, it's something that Xavi will be very mindful of, knowing that he played against a lot of these players.
So Real winning. Yeah.
Barca coming off.
So Real winning.
5 games and 4 goals.
Don't lie, don't lie. So Real winning.
Nah. Real have a lot of, Benzema
was no big enough Real.
Picked up an injury, he limped off the game earlier today, so I'm not sure what will be his situation. I know they will be focusing on Champions League. They have other things to focus on. The league is basically, like I said, wrapped up already.
Yep.
So I wouldn't doubt if Barca goes out there and claims back one La Liga, one Classico compared to the last time, and change
the heated rivalry. You don't think they're gonna still have to set precedents? I mean, there's Barca Real. They can't just not come out
and this is where you can't downplay any of these players who play for Real Madrid, because they play for the badge, and you saw what they did against PSG in terms of they might have the names of the players on the back, but they know what it is to play for a big club, and they know what the club stands for and the history of the club, and much more for the history of the Classico. So they would go out there and put their best effort forward, and it's up to Barcelona to basically to understand their role and what they have to do and do it on the field.
And as you mentioned during the break, that the history is actually on Real Madrid's side, with Barca not winning the last 5, you said, El Clasico games. But this El Clasico, I think it has a certain excitement about it. Yes, there's no more CR7, no more Messi in it. But the fact that Xavi is there, the fact that Barca is playing the basketball that we are accustomed seeing Real Madrid coming off that wonderful win over PSG, it has a certain, maybe not what we expect from before, but it has a certain excitement to that at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, the Classico was there before Cristiano and Messi, and it would be there after. I mean, it's the biggest game in football. Everybody turn off.
But that heated clash, that you can't beat that Messi Ronaldo heated clash. It was always like, I mean, I used to tune in for it too.
That was just the peak of the Classico. The two greatest.
It's not just them. I mean, arguably those were the best sides. I mean,
teams, exactly. Yeah. So it was the sides going at it at their best generations.
Correct. Yeah, definitely.
Arguably one of their best generations within the club's history. So it was great to see it, and it was great for us to live through it and watch it every day, and every time it comes on. But in terms of what the Classico was, and before we even were in tune or wanting to watch it because of Cristiano and Messi, because that's our generation. There were generations before the Maradonas, and these guys who played in this game, and what the legacy of the tie is. Yeah. So it will always be there. And look at the stars that's still there. Look at the Benzema that's still there. Look at the Pedris are there, the future stars to come. The talent is there on the field, so and it's about that. And
the big clubs, I mean, they will always attract talent. That's not a question. I mean, they have talent right now. I mean, and they will always have talent regardless. I mean, once they have cash to splash around, I hope nothing happens to Barca again.
And Aubameyang finally find his form, so that's a good thing. So, Nikolai, give me a scoreline where you think this Classico is going to end up as.
I think it will be a high-scoring Classico. It might be like a 3-2. But I think Barca, given that they actually find the back of the net these days.
Yeah. They didn't find it last week Thursday, though.
Real Madrid finally back in Real 22. I don't understand what you're talking about it, but you Real by us.
If Benzema is there, if Benzema is not there, he might not be at full 100% fitness.
I think he'll be there.
But Real could still put 2 goals on this Barca side, so that's why.
Without a Benzema running the line, or?
Yeah, this Real side could put any side could put 2 on this Barca side.
Wait, confidence, boy, confidence.
No, but at the end of the day, they scored more.
Yeah,
they lost 4-2, they won 4-2, 4-1. The front scores where they put the ball in the back of the net a lot these days.
Yeah.
So, and like Xavi said, and as you mentioned just now, Aubameyang is like basically getting a gem that fell out of nowhere.
Yep.
No, I think he's not as Josh say, finding form. I think it's a question of he always had the form, he just was not playing it for Arsenal.
And he find back his joy, he find back a little bit of happiness. Some people say about moving to different clubs and settling in. But this is a prime example of how a player could go and settle in quick. I know his mom and stuff.
And the Premier League rough, eh? So, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, every club.
Aubameyang's mom from Spain as well, Barcelona. So
Right.
Yeah,
him
so
to adjust to the lifestyle
would be a lot
there,
easier.
It would be a lot easier. So
Yeah.
on the field aspect would be different, and he playing for his family and friends and everything over there. So
Yeah.
you know, it's a different take than
Yeah.
moving away from something that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, El Classico coming up this Sunday, 4 p.m. So you definitely want to tune into that. So we're going to take a short break, come back with our last segment, and we're going to be talking PSG, Neymar, Messi, booze, basically all that put together. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching ACTN The Voice. Connect with ACTN The Voice on Facebook or Instagram at ACTN The Voice. ACTN The Voice, your family-friendly station.
All right, welcome back to Football 101. Like I mentioned at the start of the show, we want to hear from you. That WhatsApp number is there. You can message us at 393-2286 and also follow us on all social media, TikTok. Yeah, we're on TikTok too. Facebook, Instagram at Football 101. So guys, PSG versus, I think it was Bordeaux this weekend. Scoreline was in favor of PSG, a nice 3-0 victory, but the talking point over this entire game had to be the fact that the boos, the reaction from the crowd as it was geared towards most of the PSG players, but more so Mbappe and Neymar.
Yeah,
they were literally Messi, wow. Messi and Neymar, yes, sorry about that. And we saw that, you know, Mbappe, I mean, at the end of the day, nobody can really get vexed with him. He's doing what he has to do. But Messi and Neymar, though, like, it's something new, I would say, for Messi, because I think Neymar had a little taste of this, seeing that he has been in PSG. There are times where the fans were against him.
Yeah.
But at
Definitely,
the
I love
point
your
in time,
relationship.
it's something really hard to swallow.
In terms of this is part of the French culture and French football that we wouldn't know because we don't really watch the league as much.
Yeah.
But in terms
Farmers
of this
League.
is how
Yeah.
they react to different losses, and especially the way that the distasteful way that they bowed out of the Champions League. And I guess that they look at these guys and say, you know, they were the reason. But the whole team was getting good except for Mbappe. It's just that when Neymar and Messi touched the ball more, it's like, you know, I guess it's because...
Even when
they were
Neymar
looking-
scored, he was being booed.
Exactly, because we were looking for you all at that point in time. So now, yeah, we are the crowd. Now you will hear us even more because, you know, we were expecting so much more.
Yeah, but do you think it's... Should it be that, you know, okay, at the start of the game, no problem. You give them a little stick, and then as the game progresses, you get back behind the team. But do you
Yeah,
think
back
it's
your team, you know?
okay that for the full 90 minutes, even though you win, you give them it to make a point clear?
This might go on until they reach this stage again in Champions League and get past and move on.
Yeah, but I mean, this is not the first time it's happened. You know, Barca did it to them. So I mean, maybe that has a key ingredient as to the distaste in it. I mean, coming again to Champions League and then having a goal deficit in their favor and then just throwing it away.
Yeah.
So I think it has a lot of history in it as well too. But at the same time, you know, they're kind of hypocrites, the ultras, you know,
Yeah.
because PSG, you know, they're talking about, you know, like as you were saying before, they want their old club back, and they want to keep, you know, the club, make the club pure again or whatever they want to do. But y'all have always been known for signing big names, and at the end of the day, let's look at it from a controversial standpoint, you know, controversial opinion here. You know, Messi and Neymar are bigger than y'all. At the end of the day, they have titles and trophies way beyond that PSG's reach. So where do they come off? You know, trying to dictate, you know, what these guys can and can't do.
What Messi and Neymar went there to do is basically help shine a light on a shadow that never saw this light before.
Correct.
Yeah.
Win Champions League.
And now they basically shunning them for coming and trying, which you shouldn't do, because at the end of the day, this is who coming to help carry you to a different stage. And
I guess the fan point is that they aren't trying enough. You know, they would say, okay, Neymar, you make this amount of money, but you're showboating on the field, you're going to all these parties, you're injured all the time. So another I can understand with Neymar, but Neymar does certain things to kind of get stick in a certain way.
Yeah, I guess, you know, the attitude,
Messi,
the arrogance.
Like,
I guess in terms of what PSG will be thinking on the whole, in terms of going straight back to where they were, maybe they're looking to see if they could carry back the history to like Chelsea history, just back to 2010s, and then they could go on and win 2 Champions Leagues quickly.
Why was that? Why was
that?
I'm
just saying, you know, readjust the plan, because it was basically a whole project that they were working on, but you could say the project crashed.
Yeah, it failed. You could say that, because even though in the league, yes, I think they're just 5 points clear at the top. So yes, League One is there, but it's still that and all isn't even guaranteed.
But the project was never built around League One. It was always built around the Champions League.
Yeah.
And the project made steps. They reached to the final, and I would say that was their best bet to win the Champions League against Bayern Munich in the one-off game in 2020.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They ended up losing 1-0. And, you know, that was the point that they could have won the first one and then move on, add Messi, add the second, add the third, but they didn't break that first.
But is it that, you know, you're thinking in that regard, you know, they have a habit of cracking under pressure. So are they a big side choke artist? You know, is that what they are?
That was the one season that they didn't choke under pressure. It was only in the Champions League, but that season Bayern Munich were just a
unstoppable. Yeah, I mean,
of our team.
Yeah,
and I think that season was also the season with COVID, so it didn't have any fans or anything like that too. So that
maybe that's why they reached so far.
Maybe you know, I mean,
it could just be the fans add too much pressure on the players, especially the way that they probably go about doing the things that they say, the way how they attack them.
Yeah.
And it shows on the field, and that's why they will never win a Champions League.
No, at the end of the day,
never win a Champions League.
They never had, and the best bet with all these stars.
Yeah. So you mean to tell me the dream that is being spread in the rumor mill of Cristiano joining Messi and Neymar next season is not going to happen?
Yeah, but they still might win the Champions League.
I don't see that happening.
The fans wouldn't know how to back.
I can't see Messi playing for a club. How do you go from Barca, where you're literally worshipped as a god, to come here and you're just hated by the ultras at all times, no matter how? I mean, Barca had their ultras as well too.
Yeah.
And at no point would they ever.
You will see what I've experiences in terms of Argentina fans for him.
Yeah.
He always won back their hearts.
At the end, because he used to come to country and perform at the end of the day. So for him to come to Paris and get this kind of mistreatment, it's I mean, how are you gonna go on the stage and perform at your highest when you know that you're hated? It's just.
But then again, you're looking at a Messi that has only scored 2 goals for this entire season.
Yeah, I mean, he's a man that just looks defeated.
But he hit the post 8 times. Yeah, be reckless for that.
I think he had the post 2 times.
Okay, so 10 times, right.
I think that relationship is very toxic, and I think that they need to find some kind of closure fast.
And what is that closure? That's the question. I don't see what's next. Like, I don't see what do you do different when you sign the best player in the world? You already have one of the best players with Neymar and Mbappe. Doesn't work. Like, what's next? Like,
okay, PSG, first and foremost, you have to get a coach. Because
Pochettino is not.
The coach lost that game tactically after the substitutions were made in the 60th minute when Camavinga and these guys came on. Pochettino didn't react. He didn't even do anything, you could say. Right? It's only he reacted to that situation after they went to the goal down and tried to do whatever else, but that was too late because he was outclassed.
Yeah.
So they need to get a manager first and foremost that could work.
But you're saying get a manager, but then if you look at it, Tuchel was there. Is it that
you're right, a manager who can manage egos, right? Manage stars, manage somebody who of a big profile who could come in, even the likes of a Jose Mourinho could come in and inside there that he could manage egos. He mightn't be doing whatever in Rome right now because we don't know what's going on Champions League.
But it could even be the actual structure of the club, like the person above the manager. That could be the person that actually is running the entire club. Because even so, when PSG lost that game against Real Madrid, I believe it was one of the hierarchies in PSG storming into the referee room. Yeah, so like, I mean, stuff like that. And when you hear that, it's like maybe change there has to be made for the club actually to progress.
Yeah, it's definitely a toxic environment. Like, it's not just, you know, situated around Messi, you know, it's the whole club, you know. It's, I mean, touching on, like, with Pochettino, I mean, Pochettino is a fantastic club. I mean, hell, Man U want him. You know, they want
I don't really want him, but yeah.
Well, you don't want him, but Man U does, definitely. He has showed his class with Spurs. I mean, he got Spurs. What?
You take him?
If I take Pochettino?
Yeah.
Not over Tuchel.
No. If Tuchel go tomorrow.
If Tuchel go tomorrow, yeah, I would take Poch. I would take Poch. I mean, at the end of the day, he has shown that he can rally a mediocre team to reach a Champions League final. I mean, they didn't cross the line, but at the end of the day, you know, it shows tactically his class is there. I mean, you have to look at it holistically as a club. I mean, this is not just a player issue. It's not just a management issue. It's a culture. Exactly. Yeah, it's a mentality, and it's a toxic one. You know, I mean, don't need to stress on that word so much, but it is. It's this whole situation. It just is real toxic.
Yeah, definitely. So, I guess time will tell with PSG. We don't know what the future holds. Like you said, Nikolai, I think it was that same day Neymar flew back out to Barcelona right after the game. So
Messi call up Chappy.
Yeah.
Call up Pep. Call Messi. All kind of.
Yeah, it's real.
Right now, phone lines are ringing. Lines are ringing. Managers' lines are ringing.
Yeah, I just glued to Fabrizio Romano just to see what he had to say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And like I said, this is something Messi probably has never faced to this extent. So you never know how this will affect him and his future as it pertains to being a PSG player. But we've come to the end of yet another episode of Football 101, guys. Thank you so much for spending this time. We're going to be back right here at 9 p.m. on Thursday, so you don't want to miss it. We're going to be talking all things Champions League come Thursday. So don't forget some big matchups this coming weekend. We have the Classico. I believe Liverpool and Arsenal are playing on Wednesday.
Is that a big game?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Inform side.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, Arsenal, we Arsenal doing well.
Yeah, so you want to check that out. I believe that game is on Wednesday. All right, so that's it. We've come to the end of yet another episode of Football 101, and this is where we bring the field directly to your home.